kings, if any would know how great I am and where I lie, let him surpass any of my works. Ozymandias is the Greek name for Ramesses II, one of the greatest of Egyptian pharaohs. Diodorus describes his statue as the greatest in all Egypt, the measure of his foot exceeding 7 cubits. Of the 2 sonnets written about this great ruler, Smith's is forgotten, while Shelley's is one of the most famous poems in the English language. I met a traveller from an antique land who said, 2 vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert. Near them on the sand, half sunk, a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command tell that its sculpture well those passions read which yet survive, stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them and the heart that fed. And on the pedestal these words appear: My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair. Nothing beside remains. Round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare, the lone and level sands stretch far away. The vanity of the King of Kings, his command to his enemies to despair at the scale of his power, contrast with the lone and level sands that stretch far away. The return of power to the dust from which it rose is the spectre behind every throne, and Ramesses II dedicated his life to defying that dust. He erected so many statues and shrines to magnify his glory that his builders ran out of stone. Undaunted, he ordered them to destroy the temples, monuments, and statues of his predecessors and requisition the stone for his own use. It culminated in 4 enormous 21-meter-high statues of himself at the entrance to the temple at Abu Simbel in the far south of Egypt. Inevitably, his labours were in vain. By the time an antique traveller came across the remnants of his greatness, all that remained were 2 vast and trunkless legs of stone. When serving the grandiose fantasies of tyrants like Ramesses II, Joseph Stalin, or Saddam Hussein, statues dominate, impress, and intimidate. When their function is more benign, statues define and sustain our identity through time. They tell us who we are and who we are not. They are our beliefs, values, and memorials sculpted in marble, stone, and metal. However, throughout history, where the very idea of our identity is contested, statues have become a stimulus for grievance and hostility. The stories in this book are stories of the collision of identities which are unable or unwilling to reason and compromise. The result is a rapid descent into intolerance and violence. Where we are unable to share or forgive events in the past, we are less likely to live to share a future. It's possible, wrote Czeslaw Milosz, that there is no other memory than the memory of wounds, and no society can survive the endless excavation of past injustice. Collapse is inevitable, fueled by a retreat into identity groups whose self-love and cohesion are predicated on punishing those they accuse of harm and oppression. The destruction of statues is a marker of this collapse. Yet, for much of our lives, we give little thought to the statues that surround us. As the historian David Olusoga claimed, statues for the most part don't matter. We walk past them every day. They're grey and they're boring. They stand as harmless historical relics. Most of them, he concluded, are benign, and they're benign to me, but I can accept that some of them are not benign to other people. However, Olusoga's grey and boring statues have a sting in the tail. Whenever social cohesion fractures, they leap out from the background of our lives. Whether we protect or destroy them, they become the stone and steel on which we carve our warring identities. Today, even as the facts bear witness to the progressive tolerance shown by liberal democracies, mobs gnaw at the imperfect foundations that keep our societies standing. We are like the travellers in Charles Baudelaire's poem The Voyage, who set out to relieve the monotony of their lives, only to find at each destination an oasis of horror in a desert of ennui. The travellers end their voyage, longing to die, to plunge into the depths of the unknown, to find something new. This bleak vision describes the psychological consequences when we cannot accept the failure of reality.